So last time we were together, did the first video on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Oh my god, it blew up.
It blew up.
It was insane. It got like 100,000 views in like a couple days.
Hey from the future, it's String. I'm about to throw some epic knowledge bombs and fried chicken at you. Get ready.
It was pretty insane. I think that was the first time I'd ever experienced something kind of viral.
Well, it's because like we were probably the first early adopters using it, and we had beta access. And it doesn't help that everyone doesn't have access to it.
Right, I'm just gonna take my glasses off. Totally. I think it was one of those things too where I think we had a really good understanding of the algorithm going into it too. So I think we provided a lot of value for people who were looking to get into the space and looking to learn video. And we dropped some pretty good knowledge bombs. This is a good video.
It was, and if I look back into it, and I'll probably drop the link so everyone could see it, we were very authentic, engaging, and you were rapping too.
I was rapping, oh my gosh. 2017, the year Mehak tried to start a rap career, but not actually, but like tried to start a rap career.
I think people are expecting you to rap again soon.
Yeah, it was funny. We were working on a distribution deal with, shouldn't say their name, but we were working with this company, and I had been pitching to them working with companies and doing like a prank show. So we did this whole pilot thing, and I like started interviewing companies, and then the media company came back to me and they were like, "Yo, we thought you would like rap for us and like do more rapping." And I was like, wait, what? I was like, I just did it for fun. Like,
yeah,
what?
But that's like, okay, Drake is super popular, right? In terms of personal branding, he's accessible because he likes to make jokes fun of himself. And you could tell that he likes making fun of himself.
Right.
And that's how he makes...
Well, that's true. If you can't have fun with yourself, I think you'll have a really hard time building a brand.
Well, it's more like how do you make yourself super accessible that people feel like you're not someone famous or outreachable. Like, Elon Musk, he has SpaceX, he has Tesla, but he has Boring Company, and I think the Boring Company, like, the gun thing and the flamethrower is a good joke about his influence.
Right. No, totally. I think, it's definitely one of those things where once you figure yourself out and you know what you want to do, it becomes way easier to build a brand around what you're trying to do. If you can't find your niche, you don't know what you're going after.
Yeah, well, we were talking about personal branding quite a lot. Yeah. And ever since I started like using...
By the way, String's brand, holy shit, if you guys aren't like following her and like listening to what she has to say, like major props to you for like figuring out your brand. And
can you explain what you mean by like what do you think I've done that is amazing?
One of the things that I've personally struggled with that I think you've killed it in is that you've made things really easy to remember. And whenever you hear something too that comes from your brand, it's very easy to like replicate it. And like I'm a counter example where like what the Mehak like doesn't have an H in it when the what, so it's like super hard to spell, and I think that's probably maybe lost me a couple of leads at some point in my career. Whereas with you, you have String, like people know you, who you are, fried chicken, like that's your brand. And like it's funny because like I feel like maybe like it's the first time someone hears it, they're like, whoa, that's like really goofy, but it's memorable. And like I think one thing is to have something memorable, which I think like what the Mehak is memorable, but there's another thing to make it super easy to spell, and I think you've like killed that.
In many ways it's almost like what the Mehak. You have to find an excuse to say like what the hell.
Well, no,
it's like, oh my god, what the Mehak?
It's funny too because like back in high school, I had this kid come up to me once and he was like, what the Mehak's way too mainstream, so I'm gonna start calling you what the Mahal. And that was like his thing. He just like every time he'd walk up to me, and it's like just what I became known for. So yeah, and now even when I introduce myself to people, they're like, oh, how do you pronounce your name? And I'm like, Mehak, like what the Mehak. And then like it clicks then. So it's like trying to find ways to definitely stick your brand into everyday talk is really important.
You have to do like what the Mehak show, like you
yes.
have like
well, we have the daily deck with Mehak now, which like kind of rhymes.
But like it's like you need to like talk about the content like that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Then you
oh my gosh. Meme today. What the hell is everyone thinking right now?
No, not even like what the hell. It's like, what the heck?
What the heck is going on?
You have to have any excuse to use that line, and you have to make it memorable, because validation comes when people start using that language with you. And I know that every day I get a fried chicken, and people, when you probably saw my Facebook one, it's like all my friends know that I like fried chicken, so they can use any excuse.
Every time I eat fried chicken now, I'm like, String.
Yeah, and when we first met, we had lunch, we had fried chicken.
We had fried chicken, we did.
So it's like really
it's part of your brand.
It is. It's like, and literally that's what you want. You want people to give you them permission to start using it as a way to like connect with you. And I think that's like a new way of developing people's brand, because you want other people to elevate your brand. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think it's one thing to create a brand for yourself, but it's another thing to have other people use your brand to reference you. And I think that's when you found that niche where you have a group of people that are starting to reference you by the brand you've created. You know that like, oh, okay, like these are the early adopters, and if I can get these guys, I can probably get more.
Pretty much. And like I said, like LinkedIn, it's been when did we do that video? It's like 6-7
September, so it hasn't been that long. It hasn't even been, it's like almost half a year now. Yeah.
Amazing, because I was able to create a channel around it, and Mehak was like using LinkedIn a lot longer, but I blew up in many ways, because within 3 months I won top voice.
So crazy. Congrats on that too. That's incredible.
And I was able to now I'm hitting about 18K on LinkedIn, and I think like LinkedIn is like,
whoa, wait, seriously?
Yeah,
that's like 4K in the last month, right? Yeah,
it's just crazy, because I went from 900 when we did that first video.
Yes. You know what, it's funny because like when I started in September, I think I was at like 4,000 or 5,000 followers. Like I was ahead of everyone, and then I think I definitely had trouble with branding. But I think we figured it out. We have some cool stuff coming up.
I hope so, because, you know, I feel like it's all about consistency. And then,
absolutely.
And once you create a show, then people know for you who you are. People will literally come to me to see where I am.
Yeah.
Eat fried chicken with me. And literally talk about marketing. But I feel like I'm becoming known as a personal branding person right now.
Well, then that's how you provide value to people. And I think that's what I had been struggling with for a while, was how do I create value for people, where I had the vlogs, and I think like it showed people like motivation, like, oh hey, 21-year-old out in Silicon Valley doing this, but I also just like realized that I wanted to do something that gave back to people and was something different compared to what we're seeing in the space now. Like you found your niche and it's different, and no one's doing what you're doing. So I was trying to really brainstorm what I was doing.
Actually, I disagree. There's a lot of people who are talking about branding. They are talking about how to do
I would
marketing.
say yours is the most like cohesive though. Like you found a really good way to stick everything together.
And that's because I've been able to do that, because I like have string theory of personal branding. You know,
she literally said that to me in the coffee shop today. So she's like, "This is my string theory," and I was just like, "God damn it!" I was like, okay.
That's like just like drumming it down, and
well, it becomes second nature, because like that's the thing. You know your brand so well at this point that like it's second nature to you.
And it's not that. It's like people telling me just like, you should use string theories, and then people like they hear my name, because it's not a normal name. It's like string theory, like the universe. And everyone's like, ha 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 ha. That's like become like new tagline, and it was like, this girl likes fried chicken, and I'm like LinkedIn person. So you know your brand when other people promote you.
For sure.
Or like you do introduction, and it's like, oh Mehak, she's great in, you know, rap videos, and it's like, that's not what I want to be known for. So that's not a good validator.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened to me. I was like, someone or like a news company here in the city published an article saying that like amateur rap artist, and like that's what they labeled it. And I was like, I've literally only had one rap song come out, and like it was a parody.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't want to be an amateur rap artist.
Did you know, he's the guy that did that stick. He was like,
Rich. Well, he goes by Rich Brian now.
Yeah, he's like Chiga.
Yeah.
Chiga. So he literally did a parody, but he became like so dope that he is like, that's the thing. And I think you want to be rememberable, and so
100%.
the rap thing is like a parody, but it stuck with so much.
And I think
it resonated with so well.
It resonated, and I think the thing with the like specific video we're referring to is Startups in My DNA. And I think that video did really well too, because no one really makes fun of the startup scene. You have a lot of people doing motivational things or doing things that are like, no one's really poking fun at it. And like, I have lines in the song that like, Daddy probably invested early, like you heritaged your money, and like,
I think that's
cooking ramen in the kitchen. Like, I had fun with it.
I think that's what you really need to do. I feel like that's like something that resonates with people, because people want to make fun of it. You know, it's like also highlighting and calling out on really bad and weird behavior, because Silicon Valley is the parody in itself.
Right.
Because it's like a bubble within a bubble within a bubble. But people want to live here, but there's still like, I'd see examples of like, this is not a normal behavior, but it only works in Silicon Valley.
No, 100%. So after that video, I tried to recreate it, but not with like a rap song, but with like shit G-Eazy would say if he was an entrepreneur, like videos like that. And I found that like those weren't picked up as much as the rap song was, and I think it's because the rap song was really quick to consume.
And it's digestible.
Catchy.
It's digestible and catchy.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing though, it's not recreatable. So it's like, I did a couple of like rap songs after that too, and like they did really well, but not as good as Startups in My DNA did. And I think it was because it was like it was so new. But yeah, after that it was like, okay, what's next? And I didn't want to become known as a rap artist. I was like, okay, like this is fun, and I really enjoyed it. The process was amazing. Like visiting all the startups was cool, but it's just like, okay, what can I actually do now?
Sponsorship came around asking you to do more rap songs for them.
Pardon?
Like, people literally wanted you to do rap songs for them.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, because I've had people approach me too that are like, hey, would you be interested in like coming on my song and like maybe spitting a verse on Startups or doing whatever? And I'm always down to do stuff like that. I'm like, why not? But at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay, I was like, this is all fun, but like, what can I actually do that like provides value? And I think in some ways that video did provide value, because it provided some comedic relief to what is like the crazy Silicon Valley.
Can do content, which I believe is like one that entertains. Mm-hmm. Entertainment is value.
I would say entertainment's value, no, 100%. I've just realized that I don't think at the end of the day that's my vertical.
Okay, that's okay. And the thing is, like, this is a space where we could like create content. It took
100%.
me couple years to find out where my little thing is, and people think I'm an overnight success on LinkedIn. It's not true. It's something that I've been replicating for years and years.
Like, people don't know this about me too, but I've been creating videos since I was a senior in high school, so that would have been 5 years ago, and like uploading videos weekly. Like, it starts off on YouTube and then to Facebook, and those viewers, they stack up over time. Some leave, some go, but I'd say that the audience I have on LinkedIn is a culmination of the last 5 or 6 years of people that have been following me since then. So it stacks up, and it's like 10 years to an overnight success.
Someone says, like, even like Hugh Jackman, who I was watching speak, says like you need to stick to something for 5 years to then it becomes like something, because it's almost like that's what branding is. You need to be super consistent, like even when things don't work out, but you're super consistent, people come back to you because they know that that's what you represent.
I would actually, I'd say that like this is the fourth year that I've been doing this, and this is the first year that I'm actually finally starting to see some results in that. It's not just really views anymore, but it's like more monetary results, or like this is the first time I've been able to turn my brand into a business, whereas the last 3 or 4 years have really been building the numbers. And it's funny because I don't think people out here realize how important brand equity is.
Well, that's because like no one thinks it's like everyone wants quick returns,
right?
But I'm going for the long play, because my brand, especially personal brand, is all about where you'll be in the next 20 years, or 50 years, because branding means is like something that you have to like slowly build up. And you just like, sometimes you have those moments where you just like have this year of popular years, you know, when you're like super popular at one point in your life. So I'm just leveraging that.
I think that's the thing too, is like, how do you stay relevant and how do you keep things going? and I've realized that really the only way you can do that is by making sure that whatever you are putting out it provides value.
Casey Neistat, he became like, he was like doing his own business and he was like doing Beam, and that didn't work out. When he stopped his YouTube channel, he stopped becoming relevant. And then within like 2 or 3 months, he's like came back onto it because he realized that's his thing that he needed to maintain. So you can't drop content. You have to keep.
No, you have to keep it going, and you have to keep it consistent too.
Which is the hardest thing to do, I reckon.
It's the hardest thing to do, and I've been so bad about it, but it's one of those things too that at the end of the day, if your followers can't count on you to put out content that you've promised you're going to put out, what can they count on you for? So.
That's a really good note to finish off of.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for like having me on your channel. This is awesome.
This is so long that it's going to be on YouTube. All right, talk to you soon. Ciao.
Bye, guys.